Was so wrong. Thank you so much, Carol. Pleasure.
Let's see, time now at 6:48. Ben is in the City of London for us this morning, looking at how the financial services sector preparing for Brexit. It's such a big issue, this one, isn't it, Ben? And given the confusion at the moment, I dare say a lot of heads being scratched.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we've been taking this Brexit road trip around the country, looking at how different sectors are affected by all of that uncertainty that's coming out of Westminster right now. And financial services is one of our biggest exports as a country. More than 2 million people work in financial services. And you might think that most of them work here in the City of London, but actually 2/3 of those financial services jobs are across the country. They're in everything from insurance and banking to accounting and auditing. All sorts of different things come into that category. So there are big questions about what Brexit could mean for them. And certainly with that indecision, that uncertainty that we've got from Westminster right now, whether they can start making any plans, because there are a lot of fears that some financial jobs would move overseas. So let's talk about it with two guests who are with me this morning. Let me introduce you to Miles Celic, who's Chief Executive of the CityUK, and also Simon Lancaster, founder of SJL Insurance. Morning to you both. Miles, let me start with you, because we look at the City of London like that and we think, look, lots of money, lots of jobs, but many of those jobs, 2/3 of them, are up and down the country.
That's absolutely right. So what you actually find is there are lots of centres like Manchester, Birmingham, Edinburgh, Belfast and so on, where you've got a huge number of these jobs, high value jobs that contribute to the local economy and that are part of a massive export industry. In fact, about half the exports of the UK financial services industry, the most successful exporting industry of its kind, are actually outside London.
And there were lots of fears, weren't there, that a lot of jobs from the city and elsewhere would move overseas in the event of Brexit. That hasn't happened. Why not?
So I think the jobs have always been a bit of a red herring. So we've always taken the view that sort of the worst case scenario, about 2 to 3% of the jobs in the industry would leave to go elsewhere, actually outside Europe. So the biggest winners would be places like New York and Asia. So actually what we're seeing is a slightly smaller number of jobs that we feared moving. London and the other centres have proved a really attractive place for people to work, but we are seeing big moves of assets. So just over the last few months, about £1 trillion of assets have left the industry to go abroad.
We'll talk about what that could mean in just a second. But Simon, let me bring in you, because you've got your own insurance firm. And a lot of people will wonder how Brexit can affect insurance. What difference does it make for you whether we are in or out of the European Union?
Well, in terms of the Lloyd's of London part of our business, obviously there's passporting issues, so we've needed to access via Brussels into Europe to sort passporting arrangements. But I mean, I would just say, you've made the point there about the job losses. The job losses initially were projected to be 500,000. We've seen around 2,000, so a lot fewer than feared. And I think there's room for strong optimism. I think we do need a deal and we do need conclusion and clarity. But we're actually sensing a lot of optimism in the city. We've grown by 40% since the Brexit vote, become a Lloyd's broker, invested in a new City of London office, doubled our number of staff. So there are success stories and optimism around the city. I think we just need to be bold and ambitious and embrace it.
What have you done that allows you to have that optimism? Because a lot of firms now are trying to put plans in place for whatever scenario might play out. What have you done?
We've just embraced the opportunities of becoming a Lloyd's broker, looking at new markets, the emerging markets, the BRIC economies, Asia. We're doing a lot of business outside of Europe, so we're outwardly looking at that. But we're just sensing a lot of, we've got a great country, a great economy, a great City of London here, and we're just embracing it, and we're positive and optimistic. And I think I hear so much negativity. I think that there should be more optimism. We're a great country. I mean, Lloyd's of London has been operating for hundreds of years. It's beaten Great Depressions and World Wars. I don't think it's going to be beaten by Brexit.
On that note, we'll leave it for now. Really good to see you both. We'll talk more a little later. So Miles and Simon there. So some views of what financial services are thinking as far as that Brexit vote is concerned. But as we heard, no clarity yet on what happens next. So plans in place, but no clear direction about where things go from here. More from me after 7. See you now.
Very good, Ben. We'll see you later on. Thank you very much.
Marvellous backdrop, that, isn't it?
Yes, I'm just thinking, one of the things you need on a day, these weary days, sometimes people are weary of Brexit, you need something, well, you need a nice guy. You need a nice guy.
You need a fun guy.
And possibly
well.
a little bit of escapism, and Greatest Showman and Hugh Jackman, two